Hey, what's up, Dean? Safe Performance. We are at the shop, and I just crawled all around under the dash. I got the old Dakota Digital BIM interface module out that has the OBD plug on it. So that plugs into the old harness to send a signal to the dash. And this is the new one, the BIM 012HLLY, that works with the Holley. So the Holley CAN bus plugs into, where is it? Here it is. The Holley CAN bus, this wire here, has this end that plugs into the input on the BIM module. Then there's another, I guess if you want to call it output, that goes from here to the Dakota interface, I think is what they call it. This box here, and this is the Series 3 VFD control box. So that is VFD control box. So I also took off the speed something else. I don't remember. It was way up there. The speed in and whatever it was. I can't remember now. Tack. That's what it was. So I took those off. They are taped up inside of a harness all the way across, so couldn't really get those out. That purple wire there is the brake switch wire to unlock the torque converter. I got the new wire here that plugs into this auxiliary input output. And then the little BIM module will plug into that, and then these were pushed back up under the dash. That's the switch to program the dash, which it'll take me 9 years to figure that out again because I don't remember how to do it all. But I ended up having to take the screws out, which this one was in the middle, and the Phillips head, I think you can see that, the Phillips head broke off in it, so I had to kind of grind a slot, make it a flathead. No big deal. I got those apart, so dragged it all out. I got the Holley ECU in here, trying to figure out the best placement, and I think it's going to be up on that cowl there, kind of facing down on an angle. That's probably going to be the best placement for overall for wiring. The Holley harnesses are kind of big, but I need to open up the firewall no matter what, because that hole there is nowhere near big enough to feed any of the Holley stuff through. And that's a panel, the cover panel. I would imagine it comes with the AC Vintage Air. I think this is a Vintage Air one, but I'm pretty sure that's a block off that comes with it, or somebody made it, whatever. But I definitely got to open up that hole. I'll have to take that blue wire, which is for the AC, like high binary switch, I think it's called. And then there's also the little black wire for the heater valve. The black wire unplugs. The blue wire, I'll have to clip it, and then I'll probably pull a bunch of slack out of it that's all tangled up in here. And then I'll just tie it back together once I get that hole opened up. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now, is deciding exactly how big I make that hole. And what I have that I think I'm going to use are these boots, if I have another one. Hold on. Yeah, so I have one left, and they're sort of variable length, if you want to call that, or variable diameter for the harnesses. So you kind of cut off where you need, how big of a hole you need, and they stretch. They're very stretchable, which is cool. And then it's got a nice big deep channel to lock into the firewall. So I think this is what I'm going to use. stab it through going that way. And that's down there, so that'll be a good spot. The only thing I have to make sure is that the transmission harness will be long enough to come up. Alright, so let's try to not get interrupted. But like I was saying, I'm going to unplug this, pull that back. The blue wire runs to over here, which goes to the binary switch. So I'm going to get the compressor fired up, get the die grinder, and start wallowing out that hole, and we'll see where we're at. Alright, so I got the harness through, and what I did was I laid it up on top of the front here, and I actually ended up peeling almost the entire harness apart. And I got the IAC motor TPS onto the passenger side. I did mess up and put the coolant temp sensor in with these. I got the intake temp pulled all the way back to where the map sensor kind of comes out, so I can just connect these to the connector for the Bosch. I think it's a 3.5 bar sensor. So I have that pigtail off the other harness. I'll be able to connect them, click it in, it should all work, should show air temp. This is my fuel pump down here. So I can wire that right to the Holley trigger. Get rid of the blue with the white, we won't need that. Then the solid red is battery. And then I got the auxiliary plug here and the input and output harness here. I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this kind of loop here. I'll probably pull it back, because it almost looks like if I pull that harness back, it'll end up where the inputs and outputs are right there. I did loom the transmission over, not loom it, pulled the transmission harness over, put it behind the lines how the other one was, got it all connected to the transmission. I got the crank sensor connected, the injectors are all plugged in, cam sensors plugged in, coils are plugged in on both sides. I went ahead and I pulled the wideband out of the driver's side, because Holley gives you such a giant harness right there, or yeah, extension harness, whatever, for the wideband. So I ran it under the booster to the pigtail for the O2 sensor, and that runs down to the driver's side. So that's all done. There's all these injectors, this set of coils. So that's all done there. Yikes. The only thing, like I said, the only thing I messed up was the coolant temp sensor, which I really don't want to undo the harness. I might just undo it, because it's basically just pull this tape apart right here and kind of feed this back to the connection back there, and then pull it back over with this coil harness. I have to do the grounds on the back of the cylinder heads, which I have one bolt here. I gotta go find another bolt or find two matching bolts, and then I could do the grounds. And then I did run the main power harness under the carpet. Ew, broke my ankle. I ran it under the carpet. I pulled the side panel out, shoved it up into the back, and then I have it coming through there, down and under and up onto the battery. I'm gonna have to pull some of it back though, because this is a long car. This is the only time I've ever run out of harness. I didn't really run out, but you can kind of see it comes up and pretty much ends like right here. So if I was to try, I could probably get this in the kick panel and it'll extend it a little bit if I can get by all of this. I don't know how his kick panel comes out. I don't see anything other than the two rods on there. So I have to look at how, oh, looks like maybe there's just a screw there, and then pull the bottom plate, and I'll be able to pull the kick panel far enough. Or maybe I might be able to sneak it back in there, because once I get it in this big hole, nope. See, it's so tight right there. There's got to be a screw right here somewhere. Maybe not. No, I don't know. There's something there. I don't know. But yeah, so that's what I got done today. Holley's basically all in place. Other than mounting the ECU, finished connecting a few things. I'm going to swap the gauge for a transducer, pressure transducer, and then I'll be able to plug fuel pressure in. I have to extend, this one is oil pressure, so I have to extend that down the back of the motor. So I'll probably just clip it like right here, kind of measure the length of wire I need, or throw a bunch of wire down, connect it up here, connect it down there, and then that'll be the oil pressure sensor. But I believe that sensor is leaking, like the factory one that's under there. I don't know if you can see it. These are kind of known for leaking right there. That sensor's, they're kind of known for leaking. So I'll most likely, I mean, I could connect mine to the top sensor. I believe it's the same style sensor, just has a different like thread on it. But worst case, I can connect it to the bottom one. I'll put a new sensor in there, because I'm not gonna have that weird metric thread plug. So I believe I have one laying around. So yeah, that's what I got done today, which is a lot. I still got to swap his fan on the radiator side out. He got the Proform brushless fan. Those things are sick. So we're gonna try to pulse width it. I'll have to build a duty cycle table, which I built one the other day while he was here ordering the Holley, just to see if I understood how it would work. So I'll have to try that, and that'll go on an output for the Holley. So that'd be cool. But then started this. Some pretty welds. So I just welded a Marmon, I don't know, like the S475 style downpipe flange to a 5-inch stainless 90, and then I got a couple more 90s. I'll probably order 2 more maybe, and I don't know, we'll see what we do with it. But that's about it for today. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, leave me a comment. Have a good weekend.